Hello everyone. Today we are going to learn to configure call recording in Inform Voice. Inform Voice supports two types of call recording. One is the on-demand call recording, in which each user manually controls when to start and stop the recording, or automatic call recording, where the call starts to be recorded as soon as the user answers the phone call. Let's see how each one is configured and how it operates. Before we even start to define which devices are going to be auto-recorded and or on-demand recorded, we need to enable the feature globally. We enable it by going to the system properties and locating the call recording tab here. And there is just a checkbox that enables call recording globally. Next, we need to allocate call recording ports to the device that's going to perform the recording. The device that performs the recording in Inform Voice is the media server. We need to check how many licenses do we have available for the call recording feature. So let's check our license file. We go to the Tools menu, View License Summary, and we locate the call recording port license limit. As you can see, I have plenty of license to play with. Now I will go to the media server and assign ports to the call recording feature. I will need to go to the Services tab, and you will see here on the very first line, the media server recording capability is basically disabled. There are no ports assigned to the feature. So I will assign, let's say, 10 ports. Now I'm able to record 10 simultaneous calls, but if you can see here, those 10 ports are also shared by other services. This is not something that we would like because we would like to keep the call recording ports always available. So let's reduce the number of ports that the other features will use, so we keep the call recording ports as exclusive. Okay. Now we are going to define on-demand call recording for a user. We enable on-demand call recording through the class of service of the user. So I will go to the class of service and locate the class of service of the user I want to enable the call recording for, which in my case is a manager. So I will go to the manager's class of service and I will enable the on-demand recording feature. I will also enable the playback recording feature because it makes sense that if a user is enabled to record his or her own calls, he or she will be able to listen to them. And you can see there is also an auto record indication to let the user know he or she is being recorded. Now let's check the actual device to be recorded. In the case of on-demand recording, the device that we want to record is the station that the user is assigned to. In my case, I will look for the station 3005, belongs to Dave Davidson. And you can see a call recording tab here. Mm. That call recording tab has 3 items, but for the on-demand feature, the only item that we need to make sure it is set is this one: allow others to record your calls. Mm. Because this means that the station itself can be recorded. Mm. There is another item for auto recording, which we'll use on the other feature. And there is another item that gives rights to users to playback recordings. But the users who are allowed to do on-demand recording, they are automatically allowed to listen to their own recordings. So now we completed the configuration on-demand recording. Let's try it out. Here is the UC client of the user that's going to be the manager. So I log her in. And I will make a phone call and talk for a little bit and see what happens. Okay, I answered. But remember, this is an on-demand recording, so I need to start the recording. You can see this icon here that allows me to start it. Recording just started, and you can see the call record indication visible in the UC client. Certain models of phone also have a indication that the call is being recorded. For example, the NEC DT phones have that feature. So let's stop my recording and let's hang out. In order for the user to listen to the recording, he or she needs to go to the call history. So let's go to the call history and let's search for all the calls that Beth Davidson made or received. Here you can see the last call has an indication here. That means the call has been recorded. So don't get confused about pressing that icon. Press the arrow instead. When you press the arrow, you will see the details of the call, which was an inbound call and was external, but now you can see that the call has been recorded and you are able to play the recording. And you are even able to save the recording to your own workstation. Remember that the calls are being recorded and saved on the server, not on the client itself. So let's play it. Recording just started, and you can see the call record indication visible in the UC client. Certain models of phone also have a indication that the call is being recorded. For example, the NEC DT phones have that feature. So let's stop my recording. So this is the example of an on-demand call recording feature. Now let's go to the automatic call recording feature. So I will select a different user and I will select the user 3008 which is Pat Timmons. I will look at the extension and I will look at the call recording tab, and I will say, okay, I want calls made or received by the extension 3008 to be recorded as soon as they start. That saves the recording in a file, and that file is stored on the server. I will show you in a little bit where is it stored, but we can give users the ability to play back this recording. So for example, let's say I allow Pat, Beth Davidson, who was the manager of the example we just made, and I will give Beth Davidson the ability to listen to Pat Timmons' recordings. Now let's check Pat Timmons' class of service. Pat Timmons is an employee, so I will check the class of service of Pat Timmons. The only thing I have is an auto record indication, but she is not allowed to do on-demand recording. She's not allowed to play back her recordings. So now let's go to Pat Timmons' workstation and let's log it in. Let's make a phone call. Now you can see that Pat Timmons is being recorded automatically. And you see the call record indication over here. Let's hang up. Now, we defined Beth Davidson with a property to allow her to listen to Pat Timmons' recording. So let's see how can we do that. So if I go to my call history, I can click on this plus minus, and you will see that there are two possibilities, two tabs here. The user call history, which is their own Beth Davidson calls history, or the auto recordings history. For the auto recordings, we can select any extension where this user has the rights to play the recordings. And you can see we defined the 3008. So now the 3008 shows here. I can find, and here's the recording. And this is the recording made on Pat's extension. And the same way as before, we can click on this double arrow and we can play.
Now you can see that Pat Timmons is being recorded automatically. And you see the call record indication over here.
And I can also save the file locally. Finally, I will show you where the call recordings are stored on the server. So let's open up, let's minimize this, and let's open up a Windows Explorer, and we will find the share on our info voice server, which is Ubuntu. And you will see there are two shares. One is the spherical share. We use the spherical share to look at log files and look at other folders within the system. But there is a specific share called call recordings. If we click on this one, you will see two recordings, the two recordings we just made. So it doesn't matter if it's on demand or automatic recording, this is the information and here is saved. Let's end with a few notes about recording. First, I want to let you know that the files in this share do not stay there forever. There is a number of days where the system keeps that information. Call recording is considered part of call logging. So the same timeout for call logging applies to call recording. So if you look at the system properties and you do go to the call logger tab, you will see that the log is purged after 30 days. Well, so happens with the call recordings. So if the customer wants to keep the recordings on the server for a longer time, he or she can do it, but the maximum amount of days that you can keep the recordings are 365. Please consider that also takes space on the server. So, I mean, figure out the space of the hard drive accordingly. The other thing I wanted to tell you is that in the examples I exposed, we were defining call recording for the extensions, but we can also define call recording for the trunks. The way to do it is to go to the numbering plan and look for the access codes for the outbound service. So you can see, for example, here is the outbound service for Chicago, which has a call recording tab. So I can select auto record your calls here, and every call that belongs to the trunk that is assigned to the Chicago service will gonna be recorded. Now, if I do this and I also enable the extensions to auto record, then I'm gonna have a kind of double file because I'm recording the same call twice. So be mindful of that. And just as an FYI, the file name of the recording contains some information about who is being recorded. In this case, as I identified the extensions to be recorded, the extension number is part of the file, and also the date and time of the recording is indicated here. Well, we covered call recording in detail. We enabled the feature and we explained how to configure both on-demand call recording and automatic call recording. With that, I thank you and I see you in the next video.